All right, friends. So you're looking online, you're looking at homes and condominiums down here in Florida, and there's so much new construction in our area. It's gorgeous. And at a minimum, a lot of these new communities themselves are just beautiful. Maybe the amenities are minimal, which is maybe what you want, but it's just everything's new, beautiful, well landscaped. Even the area surrounding the community can be so gorgeous. And then some communities have incredible amenities, resort style pools. Some of them will have full-time activities directors. They will have a cafe or a restaurant there, even if it's not a golf course community. And we find everything else in between. So one extreme or the other, and you get super excited about it. So you're checking the prices on these properties. You think, yep, I can swing that. Maybe you're trying to do some research on what it might cost for property taxes and insurance. I know how you guys think. This is what everybody does when they call me, or a lot of people do. But then you think, well, all this beauty, all these amenities, surely it's not free. So you go, well, yeah, I know there'll be HOA dues, but there's another little sneaky expense that could be in there. And it's something called CDD fees. And that's something in addition to HOA dues. Not all properties have them, but a lot of these new communities do. So in this video, I want to explain to you what these CDD fees are and then compare them to your HOA dues. Hey, everybody, my name is Jill Thomas. I'm a real estate agent here in the Sarasota area, and each week I bring videos to help you understand our real estate market here and just what it's like to live in Florida. It's such a beautiful state to be in. So if you've been thinking about making a move here, or maybe you're thinking about moving away, then this might be a good channel for you to help you out to understand our market. Hit the subscribe button, keep watching, but really what I appreciate is when people reach out to me. So down below in the description is my contact information, call, text, email me, and I'm here to help you out to answer those questions as you try to figure out what your next step will be. So let's dive in. Let's talk about these top questions I get about CDD fees and then HOA dues. So our first question, what are CDD fees? So CDD stands for Community Development District. Now you might think, well, Jill, that means nothing to me. That doesn't help me at all. So let's use those same words, but I'm going to put them in a different order. So in a district, in an area, it is the development of the community. CDD fees. So it's an area that's not been developed yet. So we're talking like North River Ranch up in Parrish, Lakewood Ranch, that's in both Sarasota and Manatee Counties, Welland Park, that's down in the Northport, Venice area. Okay, originally people have lived in these areas, but there's smaller 2-lane roads. A lot of these homes were on well and septic, not sewer and county water. It's just not heavily populated, so there's not a lot of things there. So as these new communities go in, these new residents that live in a gated community, let's say, they want, of course, sewer. They want county water. They want roads to be widened so the traffic doesn't get backed up. Not only do they want wide roads, they want beautifully landscaped wide roads. The population increases, so now we need new schools. We need new fire stations, additional fire stations, parks. So all of those things have to be paid by somebody, and guess who gets to pay for them? The new residents who are buying these new homes in these areas. So lucky you. So what happens is bonds are taken out with the county to pay for all of these things. So the county's paying for this, but now they have to be paid back. So the new residents who are buying in these communities, in these areas, are going to pay off these bonds to have all this new stuff. So that's what a CDD fee is, Community Development District, or in a district, the development of the community. Question number 2, how are CDD fees paid? So a CDD fee is paid along with the property taxes each year with the home. It's a separate line item. So if the property taxes are $4,000, the CDD fee is $2,000, then the bill is going to be $6,000. Now the CDD fee stays with the home, not with the original owner, doesn't, go with them. It can be paid off if somebody wants, but very few people do that. Before COVID, maybe 4 years ago or so, there was one community as as part of their marketing, said, hey, we're going to, you buy a house with us, we're going to pay off the CDD fee for you. I don't see people doing that much anymore. I don't anticipate that happening again anytime soon. So don't bank on that. Please don't call me up and say, Jill, find me a community that will do that. That won't happen, I'm sorry to say. And that was a luxury builder. It wasn't, your average $500,000 or $600,000 home type of builder. So it was definitely a high-end builder. But anyway, so if, let's say you've bought a home, you go to sell it, there's a CDD fee, then the new homeowner is going to take over paying that CDD fee. It doesn't stay with the original owner, it stays with the house. So that's how those CDD fees are paid. Number 3, how much will those CDD fees be? Well, the CDD fees really vary depending on the property. It depends on the size of the property, maybe the location, extra features that are around there, what's going on in that area that had to be paid for. So there's a lot of variables that are factored into it. I would say on the low end, it's maybe just under $1,000, $800-900. Sometimes those are like for condominiums. I see really small properties. At the high end, it could be $4,000 or $5,000 a year, $3,000 a year. I would say on average, I see it around $2,500 a year. But again, this is just a Jill guesstimate. That's not based on research or anything like that. It's just based on experience more than anything. So it could be more, it could be less. Now, these bonds are typically for 30 years. So once 30 years are up, that CDD is paid off. The CDD fee, sorry, that's such a mouthful. The CDD fee is paid off. But originally I was told that once it's paid off, it's paid off. Now I'm hearing that once it's paid off, it's just greatly reduced because now they still want that income to maintain everything. So I think some of these things which might normally be part of your property tax, your true property tax bill, now this very much reduced CDD fee will help with maintaining roads, schools, and things like that. I'm not really sure how it's all factored in, but that's my understanding, is that it's just really reduced. So depending on, with this 30-year bond, depending on how old the house is, how old you are when you buy the house, I would just say bank on paying that CDD fee for quite a while. It's not going to go away anytime soon. And then also on occasion, I do hear where the CDD fee actually fluctuates a little bit. I don't think it would go up tremendously, but that could happen. So if you go and buy a property and the CDD fee is, $2,000 a year, in the future it could go up to $2,100 or $2,200 a year. So don't be surprised if that happens. It's not a set in stone number. Number 4, what's the difference between CDD fees and HOA dues? So that's another big question I get. Well, the CDD fees are collected by the local government and then spent. The HOA dues go directly to the association for running and maintaining the community that you live in. So that's a big one. The HOA dues to community can vary greatly. So up in Lakewood Ranch, there's a community called Lakewood National. The HOA dues in this community, even if you're in a small condo, are a lot higher because it's a golf course community. There's a restaurant there. There's a food and drink minimum. So there's a lot going on. But just down the road, there's another community that's a large one called Solera, and the HOA dues are a lot lower than Lakewood National because the amenities are just minimal. There's a public swimming pool. I want to say there's a playground there, but there's not a whole lot that's happening there. So then your carrying costs are going to be a lot lower too. So HOA dues will vary from community to community. And then also you'll see with the CDD fees as well. But there's so many variables that are factored into that honestly, I really don't understand it all. Now, if you want, the other difference too between HOA and CDD fees is when you're part of an HOA, you get to vote on things as a member of the association. You can also be on the board if you want, or attend meetings so you can help influence how that money is going to be spent, how things are going to be handled, how things are going to be maintained. Let's say if currently there's not a playground or a fitness center and the residents want that, then that's something that can be voted on. You can have influence on. There could be a special assessment for something like that. So you can be actively involved on how those dollars are being spent. With the CDD fees, I don't see that happening. You could write to Sarasota County or Manatee County and ask for things, but you're just one of thousands and thousands of people. So there's a huge difference between those HOA dues and CDD fees. Number 5. So does this mean that all newer homes in these communities will have both CDD fees and HOA dues? So that's a big one, because some people say, Jill, we got to keep these expenses low. This is ridiculous. So thankfully the answer is no. Just because a house is new or newer does not mean automatically that there's going to be those CDD fees or HOA dues. But keep in mind that if you're in a community where there's a sign out front, a wall around it, and maybe even just minimal amenities, there are going to be HOA dues, but there may not be those CDD fees. And it really depends on the location of the community. But if you are really not wanting to pay CDD fees, please do not think that you can just go out and get whatever you want. You might have to compromise in other ways, primarily with the location of the home. If you want to be in Welland Park, you're paying CDD fees. Lakewood Ranch, CDD fees. Almost all of the new communities up in Parish, CDD fees. There is actually one up there I'm aware of that does not have CDD fees, but honestly right now that builder's kind of on my blacklist, which is a subject for another day. Actually, I will not badmouth any builders on my YouTube channel, but if you want to have a frank discussion with me, give me a call and I'm happy to share my thoughts with you. But otherwise, there's a few areas that do not have CDD fees, and it's very nice new construction and in a great location. It's not like it's way out east somewhere, a million miles away from us. These are nice areas. So there are options with that. Now, let's say you go, Jill, I don't want to pay HOA dues either, but I want a newer home. We do have options for that as well. So there's areas in Venice where builders are building really nice spec homes or less than nice spec homes. Again, these builders vary greatly. Just because it's new doesn't mean it's going to be awesome. And so down in Venice, parts of Northport. But here's the thing, you're not in a community where the homes are similar. All right, so this builder could build on a street where you've got really some nice homes, similar homes, and there could be some homes that are older. Some of these properties also, because of where they're at, there's no HOA telling them you can't do this and you can't do that. So not everybody's going to maintain their home the same way. So as long as you're okay with that, you definitely have options. But here's the kicker with that is okay for some people and not okay for other people. A lot of these homes are going to be on septic and well water, because again, you're not paying that CDD fee where they hook you up with that. So it doesn't mean exclusively. Sometimes it's septic and county water. I see that on occasion as well. I'm going to list this week a lot in Northport. It's actually a huge lot, 20,000 square feet, and it's on a street where if you have a house built, you can have county water and sewer connected. You have to pay for it as part of the construction, but that's available. But keep in mind that if you don't want to pay those extra fees, there's other things involved with that. So, but I do sell a good number of these spec homes down in Northport, where there's some pretty decent builders down that way who will just build a home and sell it, and people are very happy with that. So there are some options if you do want a newer home and not pay those extra fees. So I hope this helps you as you're doing your research. You can really understand the CDD fees a bit better. It's not the first time I've mentioned them, but I am getting calls from folks who aren't super familiar with them or haven't heard about them at all. So I thought a fresh video could be a help to you guys, because it could be disappointing when you look at a house and you think, oh, this is great, and then you don't realize that there's additional carrying costs. So the disappointment can settle in pretty quick. So it's better just for you to know these things up front. And then I also want to mention to you that I have a pretty active Facebook and Instagram account, and the links to those platforms are below. So I'll do some video clips that you see on here, but then also it's hyper local. Everything else I do is hyper local in terms of events happening, recent statistics, everything. I like to have that on my other platforms. And then also I send out a monthly e-newsletter. So if you shoot me an email at jill@jillwillsell.com, we'll get you on that list, and that comes out about the third week of each month, right after our stats come out. And again, hyper local, so you get to know really what's happening here, what kind of events we have, different restaurants, different activities. So it's a lot of fun. So if you want to become more familiar with the area, this might be a great resource for you. So check it out. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Have a great day.